Hard light doesn't always have to be harsh. I'm going to take you behind the scenes to show you this 2 light setup that I used to create this beautiful summer airy ceviche photo. Hi, I'm Rachel Koronek, professional food photographer, helping you take incredible photos that are good enough to eat. Now, hard light is often described as harsh because we have very deep shadows, but it doesn't always have to be unforgiving. If we fill those hard shadows, we end up with something that is really soft and light, but still has that really defined edge. Now, field hard light is often used to embody a calm and breezy summer's day feeling. And that's exactly the type of lighting that I wanted to use for this ceviche photo. First up, let's take a look at the gear I used to create this shot. If you're interested in knowing the exact gear that I used, I'm going to link them below. So for this shot, I used 2 strobes, a softbox about the size of 2 by 3 feet, barn doors with a honeycomb grid, a boom stand, lighting stands, and modifiers to help me shape the light like black foam core, a Tupperware lid, and an indoor plant. Now, the first thing we want to do is set up our key light, and the key light is our main light source. And the goal of positioning that light is to create the shadows we want. So we're going to play with that key light in order to change the length and direction of our shadows. Now, on our key light, we have barn doors with a honeycomb grid, and we're using this modifier to really concentrate and control the light so we can get the deepest and crispest shadows possible. Now that we've set up the key light, it's time to move on to our field light. So our field light is our second strobe, and it is the light that has the softbox attached. Now you might be wondering why we have this light pointing at the ceiling, and there's 2 reasons that we're doing this. The first is to create on-axis fill, and the second is to create a large soft source. So both of these factors are going to fill those hard shadows on our scene. Now, if some of you are like, sorry, what does on-axis mean? What that means is that we have the light coming from behind the camera. And what that does is it's going to prevent double shadows. So we're not going to have 2 different shadows showing up in our image. The main reason that we want that beautiful, large, soft source is we want to make sure that we're feeling every single shadow in our image that our key light is creating. Now, we have set the fill light at about half the power of the key light. So the beauty of this setup is that we can really control how filled the shadows are. So we basically just turn the power of the light up if we want really soft filled shadows, or we can dial it down if we just want shadows that are not quite black. Because we're shooting food and food is time sensitive, the best way to really work out this light is just grab a background, grab a prop, put them on set and have a play. Move the key light further away, position it up and down so you can look at the direction and the length of the shadows, and then play with your fill light to control the depth and how filled or how light you want those shadows to be. Now that we have our key light and our fill light set up, it's time to get creative with some modifications, with things that you might not expect. So first of all, we do have a black foam core. Now I've just set this onto a lighting stand, and what we're doing here is to further control any spill on the scene. And you can also use it to create or add additional shadows to the scene. So I've got that there and I'm going to just start playing with it. The second thing we added to the scene was a Tupperware lid. So this is just a clear plastic lid that has a little bit of a pattern in it. And we added that to the frame to dirty up the scene a little, to add a little bit of texture, but without being too distracting or obvious in the final shot. The last piece of the puzzle, and to really tie this together, is to create that dappled light feeling. Now, if you're not familiar with dappled light, that is where we have light patches and dark patches together. You've most likely seen this sitting under a tree in summertime, where we have the light coming through the tree and we have the shadows and the light on the ground. And what's really cool about that is as the tree moves, so does the light and shadows. So that's what's really going to tie this concept together. Now, in order for us to get this look and to make it feel organic, I used a strawberry plant that I just purchased from the grocery store, and it had tiny little leaves and it was really sparse, so it worked really well for this concept. Now what I did is I just placed it just outside the frame and I played with distance from the light, and that's going to give us a different feeling in those shadows. So just when you're doing dappled light, just move it around the frame to really see what's going to look best. Now I didn't want to have this so that the dappled light was showing over the food because that's distracting and the food is our hero. So I made sure that the dappled light was showing up in the photo in the areas that we had negative space. So this is more of an advanced lighting tutorial. So there was a lot to take in. So let's quickly run through again what I did to set up this shot. So we had our key light with our strobe and barn doors to control the length and direction of our shadows. Then we had our fill light, which had the softbox pointing at the roof so we could create on-axis fill, and we had that about half the power of the key light. Then we had our modifications with our black foam core so we can create more shadows or control spill. Then we had our Tupperware to dirty up the scene and to create a little bit of diffusion. And then we had our strawberry plant to finally create that dappled light. Now, if you have any questions about this lighting tutorial or this setup, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to chat with you. If you enjoy lighting as much as I do and you want to see me in action creating my go-to artificial light setup, make sure to check out this video. It'll be somewhere or in the description below. So fill hard light. Now filled hard filled hard light. Say that 5 times fast. Filled hard light, filled hard light, filled light, light, filled light hard. Okay, good. Now filled hard light. Take 20.